Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's case, I'm going to be talking to you about the Andrew Paul Gosden case. So Andrew was age 14 when he had disappeared. He was missing from Doncaster and he's been missing since the 14th of the 9th, 2007. Andrew was last seen in King's Cross Station on the 14th of September 2007. He went missing from central London. Andrew left his home in Doncaster, South Yorkshire, and withdrew £200 from his bank account, and he had bought a one-way ticket to London from Doncaster Station. He was last seen on CCTV leaving King's Cross Station, despite numerous national appeals for the information in the years following his disappearance. Andrew's reason for travelling to London that day and his subsequent fate have not been established. In December 2021, detectives investigating the case arrested two men on suspicion of kidnap. And they also was on suspicion of human trafficking in relation to Andrew's disappearance. Both men have been released under investigation while inquiries continues. They are believed to be the first arrest that's made in connection of Andrew's disappearance. In January 2023, police confirmed that investigations were still ongoing. So more about his background. So the Gosden family lived in Balby, which is a suburb of Doncaster in South Yorkshire. Andrew's parents are both committed Anglican Christians, but had not baptized their children as they did not want to impose their views on them. Prior to his disappearance, Andrew had not been to church for 18 months. He had been a Cub Scout, but a few months before his disappearance, told his father that he would no longer involve himself in the group. Gosden's family described him as a homebird, who rarely left the house and never without saying where he was going. Andrew was known to his family as Roo. Andrew was a gifted student with 100% attendance record at the Macaulay Catholic High School. He was on the Young Gifted and Talented program, which was designed to enhance and educate development of the top 5% of the school pupils, and he had been expected to score straight A's, and this was in his GCSEs examinations. Andrew was described as a prize-winning mathematician who seemed destined for Cambridge. He was described as having a neutral attitude about school, hoping the upcoming school term would provide more of a challenge after having cruised through his education this far. Andrew tended to little about his school life, and this was to his parents. During the 2006 summer holidays, Andrew attended a 2-week residential school at Lancaster University as part of a Young Gifted and Talented program. The summer school was for children from all over the UK aged 11 to 16 who were in the top 5% academically. Andrew's parents recalled that he returned from the summer school enthused about what he had gone and done there. Andrew was described as being happy with his own company, but was not a loner, as he had his own group of friends. However, Andrew's family say that he did not socialise with his friends outside of school. Andrew exhibited no signs of depression, and there were no indications that he had been subjected to bullying. Andrew was said by his father to be absent-minded and potentially vulnerable. He was a deep character who did not get worked up or moody. His teachers characterised him as shy, quiet young man that was very mature beyond his years. Other sources have stated although Andrew was 14 when he disappeared, he looked younger, perhaps about 12, as he was a bit small for his age. Andrew was wearing strong prescription glasses. He's deaf in his left ear and has a very distinctive double ridge on his right ear. Andrew had a light brown hair, but he was planning to dye it black before he disappeared. Andrew owned a couple of mobile phones between the ages of 10 and 12, but he rarely used them and subsequently lost them. He was given a new phone, and this was for his 12th birthday, but also rarely used this and did not want to replace it. When his parents offered to replace the lost mobile phone, he stated that he would prefer a new Xbox instead. Andrew was interested in video games and metal bands. He was last seen wearing a black Slipknot t-shirt, black jeans, trainers and a watch on his left wrist, and carrying a black canvas satchel with patches of rock and metal bands on it. During the 2007 school summer holidays, typically July to September, Andrew's parents had suggested that he was travelled alone to London to stay with his grandmother, but he chose not to go. And at the time of his disappearance, Andrew was 8 days into the new school year after returning from the summer holidays. In the days leading up to his disappearance, Andrew twice chose to break his normal routine. His parents reported that he told them that he walked home from school rather than taking the school bus, walking the 4-mile, 6.4-kilometre route from the school to his home, which had taken around 1 hour and 20 minutes. The evening before the day of the disappearance was described by Gosden's father as uneventful. The family ate together as usual and they all washed the dishes afterwards. Andrew spent an hour making a jigsaw with his father. He then watched some comedy programs on television, including Mock of the Week and That Mitchell and Webb Look, with his mother. On the morning of his disappearance, Andrew had difficulty waking up and seemed particularly irritable. His mother had stated that this was unusual as he was normally awake on time, and at 8:05 a.m. Andrew left his house and was witnessed walking across the local park, which is a Westfield, to his usual bus stop by family friend Reverend Alan Murray, and who was sitting on a bench in the park. Instead of taking the school bus, Andrew diverted from his usual route and walked to a cash machine at the local garage. Here he withdrew £200 from his bank account, which was almost all of his money that he had, £214 in his account. But the ATM would only allow the withdrawal of £20 increments. Andrew was then captured on a neighbourhood CCTV system. Returning home at Andrew's home, then placed him in a uniform in the washing machine and his blazer on the back of his chair. He then changed into his casual clothes, consisting of the black Slipknot t-shirt, black jeans, and took a bag that embellished the various patches of rock and metal bands. He also took his wallet, keys, and PlayStation portable console. No other possessions were identified as missing. It was quickly established that he had not taken his passport. Andrew's father stated that his son did not appear to have taken a sweatshirt or a coat with him, and he had also not taken a charger for his PSP. Andrew also left around £100 in cash that he had saved from his birthdays. At 8:30 a.m, Andrew departed from the house and was seen heading down Littlemore Lane towards Westfield Park. On a neighbour's CCTV, he then walked to the Doncaster Valley station and purchased a one-way ticket to London, which cost £31.40. The ticket seller later recalled that she had told Andrew that a return ticket cost just 50p more, but he insisted at purchasing a single ticket. At 9:35 a.m, Andrew was seen boarding the train to King's Cross station. He was alone. A woman reported sitting next to Andrew, whom she described as being quiet and engrossed in playing with his video game. When Andrew failed to attend morning lessons at his school, his teachers tried to contact his parents. The school believed that they had called Andrew's parents and left a message informing them that he had not attended school. However, the school dialed the number of the parents either above or below Andrew in the register, and a message was left on the wrong person's phone. Andrew arrived at King's Cross station at 11:20 a.m, leaving the main entrance of the station at 11:25 a.m. This was the last confirmed sighting of him. The midday temperature in London on that day was 19 degrees Celsius, which is considered to be warm weather in the UK. The evening of the Gosden family and the family friends sat down for dinner, thinking that Andrew was either in a converted cellar playing video games or in his room doing homework. When the family discovered he was not in the house, they initially thought that he could be with a friend or a neighbour and had simply lost track of the time. Andrew's parents telephoned his friends who informed them that Andrew was not there and had not been at school that day. At around 7 p.m, the police were called. Andrew's sister Charlotte stated, quote, "It was just a complete panic. We initially thought something must have happened on the way to school. When we found that he hadn't even been to school, even tried to go to school, that was even more worrying." Charlotte and Andrew's father, Kevin, scouted Andrew's route to school and the areas nearby that found nothing. Within 3 hours of discovering Andrew's disappearance, there was a missing persons alert. There was also a leaflet that was produced for circulation. Andrew's family and friends searched the area until nightfall. That weekend, the police searched the bushes near the Gosden's home in Doncaster, but found nothing. 3 days later, after speaking to the woman who had sold Andrew his train ticket, the police confirmed that he travelled to London. The ticket seller at Doncaster station remembered Andrew because he refused a return ticket, despite it only cost a small amount more than a single one. Andrew's father later stated that the purchase of a single ticket than a return ticket did not seem strange to him, as Andrew knew numerous people in London with whom he could have stayed with. Initial searches in London focused on the Chislehurst and Sidcup areas where the Gosdens have relatives. Days after the disappearance, the family travelled to London and handed out flyers and posters. This was in the vicinity of anywhere they felt Andrew would have had interest in visiting, especially the museums and the exhibitions. The South Yorkshire Police, the SYP, said it asked British Transport Police, BTP, to search CCTV footage within 2 days of Andrew going missing. But BTP could not pick him out of the crowds. 3 weeks later, CCTV footage at King's Cross was again reviewed by BTP and the SYP, who identified Andrew. The CCTV image of Andrew leaving the main concourse at King's Cross was circulated in the media, accompanied by a close-up of his right ear, which was very distinctive with the double ridge. The family and the police investigated the possibility that Andrew had gone to London to meet someone he met over the internet. However, there was no evidence for this. Andrew did not use a computer at home. His father stated that Andrew did not have an email address and had not set up an online account on either his Xbox or his PSP. The police took the computer from Andrew's school and Doncaster library, but their digital forensic investigations found no evidence. The investigators sent the unique serial number of Andrew's PSP to Sony HQ, who checked and found that there was no account that had been set up or communication established on the device. The Sony PSP 1000 had a DNA authentication system allowing Sony to see when a PSP had connected to the internet. The only PC in the house was his sister's laptop, which had only been in her possession for 8 weeks. Andrew's sister had then said he did not seem interested in social media. Neither wanted to connect with any other people through the internet, as he just didn't seem social. A year after Andrew's disappearance, the head teacher at Macaulay Catholic High School, Mary Lawrence, travelled to London with staff and pupils and distributed 15,000 leaflets. After the initial CCTV trail went cold, the investigation moved on to try to establish why Andrew had decided to head to London. An early theory that was put forward by the family was that Andrew had decided to take in some sights. Andrew was known to have enjoyed London and would visit the capital with his family to see his grandparents, aunts, uncles, and family friends that lived there. He also enjoyed visiting London's museums and exhibitions. According to Andrew's father, Andrew also had a good knowledge of how the public transport system worked. He knew the layout and was very confident in navigating his way around the city. Travel on buses was free for children at this time of Andrew's disappearance. One event identified by Kevin Gosden as a possible reason for his son to have travelled to London was 2007 YouTube gathering. However, there is no evidence that Andrew attended this event or had any interest in YouTube. The family also looked into music concerts that Andrew might have gone to London to attend. The night of his disappearance, 30 Seconds to Mars played at the Brixton Academy. The Sixth then played a rescheduled farewell show at the Carlin Academy. The venue is within walking distance from King's Cross. The sixth gig was originally scheduled 4 p.m. on the 7th of July and was to be the last show with the original vocalist, making it a very unique event. Mick Neville, retired head of the Metropolitan Police Central Images Unit, believed that the sixth theory can be a bit plausible. He appealed for anyone with photos or videos taken at the gig to come forward so that, quote, super recognizers could scan the images. Neville went on to state. There is a canal nearby, Regent's Canal. It is unclear whether this was dredged or checked. Although Andrew was a fan of similar metal bands, there is no evidence that he would attend these shows or that he even liked these bands. The Gosden family hypothesized that Andrew could have gone to London to attend a show by a band that he was known to be a fan of. The Finnish band called Him did a promotional signing at the HMV store on Oxford Street on the Monday of the 17th of September 2007 and performed an invitation-only show. The same evening at the borderline venue, the Soho. The only way to get into this show was by completing various contests and giveaways. This lead was investigated by the family with help from him, but it did not produce any meaning or any full leads. Andrew's father had also stated that he suspected that Andrew might have gone to London to do something for which he felt it was easier to seek forgiveness than to ask for permission. Speaking in 2009, Kevin Gosden speculated on the reason for Andrew's disappearance. Quote, did he decide to do the Reginald Perrin thing and reinvent himself? Or was this something troubling him that he felt he couldn't tell us? In my heart, I still think his disappearance was a spur of a moment thing. Andrew's family was very critical of the police's decision to concentrate on investigating the family rather than requesting CCTV footage beyond King's Cross during the initial stages of the investigation of Kevin Gosden. So Kevin Gosden claimed that the police viewed him as a suspect during the initial stages, and they carried out unlawfully recorded interviews that aimed at pressurizing him into revealing the reason for his son's disappearance. Kevin Gosden and the wider family were cleared of any involvement. The SYP asked the BTP to search the available CCTV footage, with the 2 days of Andrew being reported. Sightings of Andrew at the Pizza Hut and at the Covent Garden were not followed up, and that the police did not speak up, and that the police did not speak to any of the women who were reported the Covent Garden sighting for 6 weeks. There's an article in the Times written on the first anniversary of Andrew's disappearance. Reported at the 122 possible sightings had been reported from all over Britain, with 45 from London and 11 from Brighton. Andrew's father said there were 2 or 3 sightings within the first week of the disappearance. That seemed very credible, partly because of the way the witnesses claimed that Andrew spoke to them. Andrew's family believe the most plausible sighting to be one which has placed Andrew at a Pizza Hut on Oxford Street, 2.6 miles, 1 hour walk from King's Cross, on the day he went missing. There was additional unconfirmed sightings on the Oxford Street on Monday the 17th of September, and the next day when Andrew was said to have been sleeping in a park in Southwark. Andrew was reportedly seen getting off a local train from Waterloo at Mortlake Station on 19th of September 2007, 5 days after he disappeared. Then possibly walking up Sheen Lane and along the Upper Richmond Road. On 19th of September, it was reported that he appeared to have obtained warmer clothes. A woman reported a potential sighting that Andrew on 17th of October, a month after he disappeared, in Covent Garden. She spoke to a boy and stated that he looked like the boy she seen on TV that was missing, by the boy denied he was Andrew. Later, another reported sighting locations included Park in Streatham, then further afield as to South Wales and Birkenhead, and also Plymouth. So in 2009, 2 possible sightings were reported, one outside the Natural History Museum, the other in a pub in Southend. None of these sightings could be verified. However, according to Gosden's father, none of the sightings were followed up by the police, and the woman who reported the Covent Garden sighting was not spoken to until 6 weeks after the disappearance. In November 2008, a man visited Leominster Police Station in Herefordshire, which is in West Midlands, and used the intercom system to talk to a police officer, stating that he had information about Andrew. As it was in the evening, the intercom system was in use at rather than a staff reception. So by the time an officer arrived to take the details, the man had left. Police later appealed for him to get back in touch. Subsequently, an individual claiming to be the man at the police station wrote anonymously to the BBC after it featured the case on The One Show. He had given some details of possible sightings of Andrew Gosden in Shrewsbury in November 2008. It has not been confirmed that it was the same man on both occasions, and if so, why he had not waited at the police station. In September 2009, the family released the age-progressed image of what Andrew may look like at the age 16 to mark the 2nd year of his disappearance. In November 2009, Kevin Gosden appealed to the gay community to help find his son. The Gosden family considered the possibility that Andrew could have been struggling with his sexual orientation. Children who are gay or lesbian are much more likely to run away than those that are heterosexual. Kevin Gosden had said, quote, "We are pretty open family, so have wondered if he was gay or struggling with his sexual identity and find it too awkward to raise. If he is gay, we do not have any issue with it. He is loved unconditionally by both my wife and I and his sister." In May 2011, the family paid a private company to conduct a sonar search. And this was of the River Thames, using the same technology that it used to locate victims and objects at sea. No trace of Andrew was found during the search, though it did found another body. In 2016, Andrew's parents appealed for information on the BBC's flagship current affairs television programme, Panorama, the following year to mark the 10th anniversary of his disappearance. The charity Missing People made Andrew the face of their Find Every Child campaign. Andrew's photo had been featured on a billboard and advertisements throughout the UK. On the 12th of September 2017, the police made a fresh appeal for information. A statement on the South Yorkshire Police Facebook page had said police were or had been investigating requests of similar optical prescriptions to Andrew's, requesting documents from the Passport Office or the National Insurance, and circulating Andrew's DNA, fingerprints, and dental and health records. The tone of the statement suggested that the police believed Andrew may still be alive. The police undertook annual checks on John Does in the hospitals. In June 2018, the Gosden family said that someone had reported an online conversation with a person with the username Andy Rue, who claimed that their boyfriend had left them and they needed £200 to cover rent. When someone offered to send them money, the user claimed they did not have a bank account as they had left home when they was 14. This link was investigated by the police, but the person was not identified. In July 2018, to mark Andrew's 25th birthday, 2 updated age-progressed photos were released by the family. It was also announced that the band Muse would help publicise the campaign to find Andrew. In October 2019, another age-progressed image of Andrew was released. Andrew's family have kept his room as he left it and have not changed the locks on the house, as Andrew was known to have taken his key. Andrew's bank account has not been used since he made the withdrawal on the morning of 14th of September 2007. On the 11th of January 2022, South Yorkshire Police said that on the 8th of December 2021, detectives had arrested 2 men aged 38 and aged 45 on suspicion of kidnapping and human trafficking. The older man's arrest was also connected with possession of child pornography. Both men have been released under investigation while the inquiries continues. They are believed to be the first arrests who was also connected with the disappearance. The following day, it was announced that numerous devices had been seized from the men for forensic investigation, which police said could take 6 months to a year. Kevin Gosden thanked the public for their support and said that the family did not know any more than what they had released. In the police statement in January 2023, South Yorkshire Police said that the men remained under investigation and that the subsequent devices were also still under examination. Okay then, so that is what I got from the case of Andrew Paul Gosden's case. So what I decided that I wanted to do is to do some tarot card readings, which are alleged for entertainment purposes only, to see what happened to him, who's involved in his disappearance, where is he, what is the final outcome to be for his case, and another one, what is very specific in the area where he is located. So let's get into the tarot reading. Okay, so what happened to Andrew Paul Gosden? Okay, so we had the reverse Knight of Pentacles. So there was some disloyalty, there was unstableness, a lack of common sense here, being a very impatient. It's the energy he was in. Okay, so there was a female that was very immature. There was a sense of insecurity, a lack of trust, and a lack of direction. All that is energy also, maybe. Page of Swords. So there was some delayed news that needed some patience. I feel like there was a lot of vigilance, there was a lot of protective and being on guard here. Tried thinking before they speak, and I felt like there was a lot of looking over one shoulder. Okay, so there was a sense of being judged, or he felt as if he was going to be judged. I feel like he wanted forgiveness, or someone wanted forgiveness because of some blame. There was a little bit of homesickness as well here with him. He did feel homesick. There was the energy of feeling like a failure. You know, he was being hunted. I feel like someone may have wanted to put like ill will on him. We felt like ill will was put on him. Okay. We then have, there was sense of trying to find mental strength. He did want to rejoin the world. He did want to come out of isolation. There was a fear of change, being indecisive, but here he was restricted. He's been restricted. Either someone wanted to, or they are to confess. They want to come clean because of their conscience is kicking in. There is to be a cycle that is coming to completion, to do with some destiny. There's a cycle of life that is coming together here. I feel like there may have been upheaval that had involvements. Okay, so there was an ending for a new beginning. But this was unexpected. Okay, so there may have been involvements to do with an apprenticeship, learning, studying, growing, doing hard work, or being in a commitment. Okay, there was dishonesty, there was corruption, unfairness here, and a lack of accountability. Okay, there was transferring of money, juggling two situations here. Okay, so there was escaping ruin, trying to pull himself together and trying to learn from the past. Okay, so there may have been involvements to do with a crush or an admirer. Someone that possibly was like a child as well. Okay. Who was involved in the disappearance of Andrew Paul Gosden? Oops. Okay, so someone that was heartbroken. Maybe something to do with depression, confusion, separation, betrayal. Okay, someone that was very, very reckless. Someone that clashed. I feel like he clashed here with someone. There was a lot of imbalance. I feel like someone tried antagonizing him as well. Yeah, it could have been torn between two relationships or torn between some decision. It was a difficult decision here. And possibly facing fears. There was a lot of problems here. Someone that was weighed down way too much than they should have been. Okay, someone that was very impulsive, had a lot of negative patterns about themselves. Could have been something to do with being not interested in something. This person's very arrogant, reckless, hyperactive, a daredevil, overly confident, loud and a show-off. Okay, so there was someone that was very rude, malicious, that is a gossiper. Someone that had was living in poverty. I feel like they was going through a lot of struggles. They may have been living up in the streets. They may have been a homeless person at one point. Okay, someone that they had a lot of bravery and courage. They tried taming the situation. There was some persuasion involvements. Yeah, there was a sense of trying to surrender. There was someone who was very intimidating and was a bully, and he was an aggressor. Okay, Where is Andrew Paul Gosden? Okay, so wherever he is, it was the end of a conflict. It was reaching some agreement. It's like he's not struggling anymore. You give up or you give in to something. He's abandoned and either walked away from a situation or is just left abandoned. Wherever he's abandoned, and that too is because it's with the place he travelled to. There's something to do with an authoritative figure that may have had involvements. Someone that's very stern, a male that's very stern. Okay, there's irresponsibility here, lacking of common sense. Someone that has a lot of guilt, regret and remorse. They want to let go of the regret. They're in isolation. They are very paranoid. And they're very antisocial. Okay. What is the final outcome to be for Andrew Paul Gosden's case? Okay, so there's either a movement or retreat or stuck in a situation. He's in a repetitive state of mind and a cycle. I feel like he may be, how do I say it? Maybe in hiding to do with a debt. Okay, there is assistance that is with him. But someone's coming in to try and support him. There may be something to do with the community. Someone in the community might know where he is. Yeah, someone that won't take accountability for their actions. Someone that had a lot of trust issues. There is to be a sense of freedom coming in. There's to be some truth coming out. Okay, so the next deck of cards that I had used was the tea leaf reading cards, which I asked what is very specific in the area where Andrew Paul Gosden is located. So these are signs, symbols, names, places, streets, anything that's very, very specific in the area. And we had an eagle, the letter E in the area name, a sun, moon, and an alligator, which is what came out. Okay then everyone, so that is the case of the Andrew Paul Gosden case. Hopefully you will be found safe and sound. Like I say, my readings are all alleged on all my YouTube channels. Okay then everyone, until next time, take care and I see you on the next one. Bye bye.